Hello there, I'm Miss K. I'm the Educations Manager with ASIFA South. Today we're going to be using a mix of paper, technology, and household objects to create an animation. You may have heard that word before, animation, and you probably know what it is. I bet you can name a ton of different animations and cartoons, probably more than I can. Today though, we're going to be doing what we call a stop motion animation. This means using physical objects moved and photographed. This is often done with Lego or puppets, but can even be done with household objects or paper. In fact, paper animations like what we'll be doing date back to the very beginnings of cinema and movie making. The very first animated film was done in this exact way. This technique, photographing paper laid down flat with a camera pointing downward, is what we call a downshoot. And luckily, it's very easy for you to make your own downshoot. All you'll need is a cardboard box, some scissors, a light, and a device to take photos on, preferably a tablet or smartphone. Lay the cardboard box on its side. Using the scissors, safely and carefully remove the topmost cardboard flap on the box. That's where we're going to rest our camera. We'll be using the other cardboard flap to hold our backdrop and characters. The app we'll be using is called Stop Motion Studio. It should be available through most app stores and is free to download. There is a pro version where you pay $1 or $2 to unlock more features, but the app comes with so many features out of the box that we'll just use the free one. We'll take a deeper dive into this in a moment. First, let's go back to our document. This is the main worksheet we'll be using today. Check the description, it should be linked down there. You can print it out on any sort of paper. When you take a look at it, you'll probably notice it looks like we're going to have a whole bunch of butterflies, right? Well, that's going to be our first task of the day, designing our butterflies. But before we start, believe it or not, these three separate shapes are going to act as the same butterfly. What do I mean by that? Well, let's think about it scientifically for a second. When a butterfly flaps its wings, they move backward and forward, supporting them and keeping them afloat. But of course, we're animating them from the front as our camera is facing down. How will we make the wings move backward if there's a flat piece of paper behind them? That's where our worksheet comes in. Each of these shapes is going to be the same butterfly but with the wings in different positions. So when you're drawing your design, make sure the same design can be drawn and colored on each of the three shapes. Here, see how I do my design. I kept my design nice and simple. You see I've got some orange and yellow on there, and I kept it nice and simple because this design is very easy to transfer across all three wings. It's very easy for me to copy the same design onto each of the three sets of wings. We want the design to be consistent across all three because it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be the same butterfly flapping its wings. So we want to make sure the illusion isn't broken, that it's this one butterfly flapping its wings back and forth. Then, once you've got your three butterflies ready, go ahead and cut them out. But remember which is which. I'm going to refer to this first one with the wings wide open as butterfly A, this one as butterfly B, and this one as butterfly C. We'll also need a background to animate on. I'll leave this up to you. I recommend using construction paper. Maybe you could use one sheet for the sky, add some decorations, some trees, perhaps flowers, whatever you'd like. I'm going to use a little bit of cotton wool here for some clouds, maybe a little tree here. I think that looks nice. Then, once you have your complete background ready, tape it down to the cardboard sleeve. Make sure it's nice and secure. We'll be bringing our hands in and out, so it's best to make sure it can stay still. Otherwise, it'll be shaking all over the place, like our butterfly is flying through an earthquake or something. Now, let's move on to the animation part. Make sure your camera is in place on your downshoot. You should be able to see your background through the camera. You can pinch in to zoom, or if you click this button in the corner, you can go into the option menu and adjust the zoom this way. When you install Stop Motion Studio, it's going to have it set to this auto mode here. But if you click over to manual, it unlocks a whole bunch of really cool features you can use. It allows you to manually control the zoom, the focus as well. There's tons of really cool stuff here that even if we don't use them today, you should definitely explore them should you decide to move on and do more animation with this app. It's very cool how many features you guys can just use totally for free. But before we start, we want to plan out our path a little bit. Using our pencil, let's draw out our path very, very lightly. So lightly that it won't turn up on camera, but we can see it as we animate. Let's have our butterflies fly up a bit and then swoop down after reaching the highest point. To make this easier on me later down the line, I'll put little dashes where I'm going to place my butterflies. Now, we've got to do a little critical thinking while planning. Don't worry, it's just a little. See, our butterfly is going to be moving up, flapping into the air. So it has to exert force, flap its little wings really hard to pull itself upward, right? And then, when it gets to the top, it's going to glide down, just like if you took a bike to the top of the hill and rode down. As such, when we plan out the dashes so that as the butterfly is working its way up, it's working harder, it's flapping its wings more, so the dashes are going to need to be closer together. Then, after it reaches the apex, the dashes can be a bit further apart, as it's going to speed its way down. And as you can see, my dashes were closer together as I go up the arc, and then as it reaches the top, they sort of slow down a bit. And then, once it's coming down again, just like I mentioned, I space out the dashes a bit. Now we're set to animate. Let's take a look at what's on screen. First, there's this big red button. That's what we use to take photos. Let's take a few of our background nice and empty. No butterflies on scene just yet. Let's place our butterfly in right on the edge here. Once you have it where you like it, take your photo. Then let's move it a bit closer onto the screen and take another photo with the same butterfly. So my butterfly is down here on the edge. It's actually on top of this tree, so it's not quite on the dashes yet. So I'm just going to keep it moving towards the dashes. And now that I've taken a few photos with this first butterfly pose, remember that's what we called shape A, we're going to do a bit of swapping around. We're going to replace shape A with shape B. Now, let's take a look at this slider here. This controls what we call onion skin. So called because you can actually see through the skin of an onion. So if we slide this leather on, we see it makes everything look a bit see-through, almost like you're a ghost. If we take out shape A, we can turn on onion skin to see where shape A was and slide in shape B to replace it. After you've done so, go ahead and take your photo. Now we swap out shape B for shape C. Again, use onion skin to line it up where it ought to go. Let's keep shape C on screen for a bit. After we've taken one more photo of it, then we'll swap back to shape B. Take the photo along the next dash and then swap it out again, this time placing shape A back in frame. After taking that photo, move shape A to the next pose and then swap it out for shape B. Move it again, and take that photo. Then we swap out shape B for shape C. Noticing a pattern? That's right, we have shapes A and C in for 2 photos each, then swap it out for shape B in between each, but only have shape B in for 1 photo at a time. So if I laid it out on screen, this is how it looks. We have 2 with shape A, just 1 photo with shape B, 2 photos with shape C, 1 photo with shape B again, and then back to A. And then we just loop through that over and over again. So if I'm moving shape A up along the arc, I would plant it on one dash, take a photo, move it along to the next dash, take a photo, and then swap it out, bring in shape B, move that to the next dash, take that photo, take out shape B, bring in shape C, and move it to the next dash. So I'm always moving. With every photo, I'm moving my butterfly along my dashes. And if you want to see how your animation is looking as you go, just find this little triangle play button in the bottom right corner. This is something you'll notice I do. As I go, I like to hit the play button just to see how each frame is looking, so it's all keeping consistent. And then you just keep taking photos until your animation is done. To view your animation, hit the back button. From this main menu, you can click the gear to adjust the speed if you'd like. So if you set it all the way to one end, you can make it go really slow, like this. Or, if you want it to speed up a little bit, you can slide it all the way to the other way and make it go really, really fast. I like to find a nice sweet spot. I usually aim for around like 12 frames per second. That usually looks pretty good for me. And there's some other options in this gear tab as well, like if you want to have your animation loop while it's playing back just over and over again, you can set that here. But when you're done with your animation and you want to share it with the world, all you need to do is come back to the main menu and look for this select button to choose your animation, and then look for an export button to save it. Different devices will have different looking export buttons. I'm using this on an iPhone, so this is what it looks like for me. But you should have the option to save it as a sequence of images or a GIF or a video. I always go video just because I find that's the easiest to share, but if you want to do a GIF, that's fine too. And then you'll get all sorts of options for saving it, just saving it directly to your phone or device's camera gallery, or if you want to email it to someone, all those options should be available to you. And that's a very basic look at the world of animation. Hopefully this video gives you a good idea of how the process works and encourages you to try exploring it for yourself. Good luck, and I can't wait to see what you come up with.